I'm the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Strut through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Feel for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because I'm betting all hope will enter here. So listen clear, I made your dreams. Fireflies don't disappear.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Fireflies Forever. We are so glad that you've joined us this evening. We have a lot to talk about. It's been a couple weeks since we heard that song. I always appreciate Meta for putting that verse on there. Did such a great job. Shout out to everyone in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and do this now because I know I'll forget later. Please drop a like on the video. If you are watching this after we're live, drop a like on the video, leave a comment, let us know what you think of the episode. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. We are glad that you're here. Hit that subscribe button. Join the family. All right, so here we are. Chris, how's it going, my friend?
Doing good. Glad to be back, and glad, like you said, we have a ton of stuff to talk about this week.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We glad to be back. We've been off for a little bit. Work schedules are changing. You know, life happens. You know, life is happening.
Yep.
Sometimes we have to adjust and do some things a little bit differently. So, I'll be on this Thursday for Impact. Chris, if you're able to join, please feel free. I'll see if Tazzy.
No, I won't be able to because we do the city I live in. They do their fireworks on July 3rd, so I'm going to be doing that on Thursday.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I'll be on some way somehow. We'll have a TNA stream. If it's just me, it's just me. Just bear with me. But yeah, we'll be on Thursday. And we'll let you know. We'll let you know what we're gonna do going forward with TNA and what the schedule will be and all that good stuff. So all right. Enough about that. We'll get back to you on the socials and let you know all that information. But we got a lot to talk about. But as we always do, Chris, we get started with memories, and you have a video for us this week. I want you to set that up for us, and then we'll chat about it once that plays.
Yeah, I know Father's Day was a couple weeks ago. I hadn't gotten to share this yet, so I figured this week would be good to do it. Just wanted to share a really awesome video that Jodie made for me a few years ago for Father's Day. Just some images and stuff she put together for me to thank me for being a good father, and so I thought I'd share that with you guys this week.
All right, man, here we go.
My bed sheets feel empty when you're not home. Your heartbeat helps me sleep. Your breath soothes my soul. Baby, you're old. Baby, you're old. Baby, you're all I've ever needed. You're all I've ever needed. I love you more than I knew. from the storm. Baby, you're all, baby, you're all, baby, you're all I ever needed. Baby, you're all, baby, you're all, baby, you're all I ever needed. Every promise I made has led us up to this day. Please remember my love when you've forgotten the way. And this ache in my heart makes me want to stand tall. I let them take me down. What if this isn't my fault? Tell me it's not my fault.
Tell me it's not my fault.
Baby, you're all, baby, you're all, baby, you're all I ever needed. Baby, you're all, baby, you're all, baby, you're all I ever needed. You're all I ever needed. I love you more than I knew I could ever love someone. Baby, you're all, baby, you're all, baby, you're all I ever needed.
What a beautiful video.
Yeah. Anybody that knows Jodie knows how much she loved to make videos, and
Oh yeah,
this is one of my favorite ones she ever made, and I'm always going to treasure it.
that's beautiful. That's just beautiful. That's all I can say really about it.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful and well done video, and Chris, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm about to say this. A lot of times, the dad's role is an unsung role,
Mm-hmm.
and not a lot of people. And I'm not saying that everyone's this way, but a lot of people kind of have a misconception,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this stereotype of the dad just kind of sitting in a recliner drinking a beer or something,
Yeah.
I think that's because we saw a lot on TV growing up, in the 70s and 80s and everything with some of the sitcoms we would see. But
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you have fathers out there who are active, who are doing everything they can to be in their children's lives.
Mm-hmm.
I know Chris to be a hell of a father. I respect the hell out of him and love him and his family. So yeah, man, that was beautiful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go to some other beautiful stuff. Try to segue and not cry. We're gonna go to some artwork now. I didn't get a chance to save everything that I saw. But I saw some great stuff, and I'm going to go back after we get done here this evening and say some of the stuff I've seen. It's just people are getting motivated and really going for it right now. So let me move this. There we go. This is so cool.
Yeah.
And what's up, amazing guy? Here's the other thing I would say too. If you get to go to things like that and you want to share your photos with us,
Oh
we
yeah,
would more than happily put those up
yeah, absolutely.
during this part. Because I'm so glad that you got to meet Alexa. I really am.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It really is awesome.
Hmm.
We'll go to the next one here, Chris.
Mhm.
Another great one.
Yeah. This one just gave me this like I want to see an Uncle Howdy horror movie or something. Like it really gave me some horror movie vibes.
Yeah. Man, this reminded me so much, and this is me like really aging myself here. But this reminded me at first glimpse of the Puppet Master back in the day.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is so dope. Like it made me think about that. What's up, Clay from Facebook? Got folks joining us from Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube this evening.
Nice.
You all so much. Oh man.
This I thought was just so cool.
That is cool.
I really like that art style. It reminds me a lot of the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah. Oh, and you remember the tattoo that we saw a couple weeks ago from Stefano? Like a real detailed one on his chest.
Oh, yeah.
He got more detail done to it.
Oh, wow.
So, I'm going to show that one next week. So
cool.
This is really cool.
Nicole on
this is Nicole. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Talented as always.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Man, shout out Nicole.
This I thought was so cool, just because it ties into what they're doing right now on SmackDown.
Yeah. Yeah, this is so cool. So cool. Man, as always, great work by all the artists out there. And, we appreciate all of it, whether it's, hand-drawn art, edits, whatever it is, photos at meet and greets. We want to showcase the community. So, shout out to all of you. But yeah, so I'm going to share a picture in a minute. I don't know if people got a chance to see today's thumbnail, but I had a little bit of fun with that, with an edit. But Chris, I want to go into, since we haven't been able to talk about the Wyatt Sicks in a couple of weeks, the fact that they just had a title match. Mm-hmm. What do you think of them getting a title match this soon?
I was kind of surprised to see they got a title match this soon. I kind of thought, like we talked about before, I thought they might kind of have a few matches with all the tag teams first before a title match, but I definitely wasn't mad about them getting a title match. And I had my expectations low. I thought there was a chance going into this match they could win it, but I knew that more than likely there'd probably be some shenanigans or something happen, just like what happened.
Yeah. This is a little edit that I did.
Oh, I like that. That's cool with the gold.
But yeah, so I thought I was of the same mindset. I was like, okay, that wow, that's kind of quick. I'm not mad about it, but that's kind of quick. And I think as soon as I saw that they were getting a title shot, for me at least, I said, okay, when are the shenanigans going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
take me through your thoughts on how the match ended, and we'll get into some of the discourse about some of that after.
Yeah, as soon as I saw, I think it was the Motor City Machine Guns you saw first come down the ring, I'm like, oh, here we go. And then you saw all the teams were down there. I'm like, yeah, there's not a chance in the world this is going to have a clean finish.
Yeah, I mean, not at all. Not at all. So, obviously, we get all of the teams down there. They all get involved. Obviously, the Wyatts don't win. There have been we'll just say some chatter out there where fans feel like, oh man, they should have won it now. It should have been now.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that, Chris? And like, are you at all concerned that they didn't win them right now? And I want to ask the same question to the chat. We'll read some.
I'm not concerned one bit because we've talked about it recently, and I think this just goes to show that we're probably on the right track of heading towards some kind of a multi-team match for the belts, maybe at SummerSlam, most likely. And I think that's a way better route to go than them just winning it from the Street Profits on an episode of SmackDown. I would much rather see an awesome, multi-team match. Hell, maybe even a ladder match or something like that would be really cool. With a bunch of teams involved, especially if it does end up happening on SummerSlam. I would love to see them finally on a PLE, and I think that would be well deserved for that. So if that's the route they're heading, which it sure looks like it, I think that's way better than just them winning this match. I'm totally fine with them not winning this match. This just continues to further the story, and I like some of the stuff that went on too. It was cool how Gacy and Loomis were getting beat down, and then Howdy sends in Rowan, and Rowan just takes out everybody. That was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, and that's the thing. I think that as fans, obviously we want to see our favorites win all the time, but I also think that we have to understand what's their story. Like, what story are they trying to tell, and does that fit for right now? And I think with the Wyatt Sicks, they were gone a while. We know as fans it was painful at times.
Yeah.
But now they're back. So that dominance that we saw at the end of their run, right when they went out, we wanted to see more of that, or at least the momentum build to that point once they came back.
Mm-hmm.
Matches like this, even in a loss, even in a match that doesn't end the way that we want it to, can produce that type of story arc. Mm-hmm. It can make them look powerful, which it did. I mean, my daughter's like, who is that? And, JJ's like, man, I wouldn't mess with him. That's what you want. You want those types of reactions. So,
yeah, and look at the stories so far. All these teams don't like the Wyatts. They don't want to see them come into their tag team division and stuff. So, of course, they're all going to come together like they have been to try and stop it and stuff. So, I think it's telling a great story. It's the Wyatts versus the entire SmackDown tag division. So that's what makes me think we're going to probably end up getting a multi-team match with all of them, which I just think would be awesome.
Yeah, and Clown here says it should set up a gauntlet match, a tag title match at SummerSlam with a Wyatt's enter first.
That would be really cool. We've never seen gauntlet matches anymore, especially not at a PLE. I feel like when they do a gauntlet match, it's usually on Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I do too.
That would really establish their dominance if they can run through every team one after the other.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Howdy and Wyatt Sicks says Ringside Collectibles has Wyatt Sicks figures for pre-order. Howdy, Loomis, and Gacy.
Okay. I'll check that out.
If you can drop us a link in the
awesome.
chat, that would be awesome. We'll share it. Deanna saying now is not the time. The story isn't told that leads to them winning. I agree. With that.
Yeah, and it doesn't, like me and Jeff were talking about this a little bit before the show. Like, I don't feel like this hurts them at all. Now, if they would have lost cleanly to the Street Profits, I wouldn't have been happy with that. But a bunch of teams getting involved and causing interference, that doesn't hurt them at all. It's a good way to further the story, especially if they're taking this to SummerSlam. Well, then we got to do some things these next few weeks to keep building that story up and get us there. So,
absolutely. I mean, it just makes sense for them. And somebody give Clown the pencil, because that's a great idea.
Yeah, I love that.
I love that idea because it really speaks to them as a group too.
Mm-hmm.
And that does so much for them as a group if they were to run the table and win the championships that way. That would be tremendous. I would love that. Absolutely love that. So, do they run it back against the Prophets? Do we see some type of match this week? I know, Chris, I did not know this, so this is a fair warning to everyone. So if you're on social media this week, hopefully it hasn't already gotten you, but SmackDown was taped last night, so the spoilers are out there. So if you want to avoid them, do your best, but you have been warned. Chris alerted me before we started. I had no idea. But do you think we get a match this week, or do you think we get something? Maybe not something in the ring, but do you think we get at least something backstage?
It's tricky. I really doubt we get a match. Maybe something like a video or backstage or something. The tricky thing is, with them taping it last night, they were just in Saudi Arabia, halfway around the world on Friday, and I don't know if they were still there Saturday or not, but that's a short turnaround time to travel all the way back here and deal with the jet lag and stuff. So I don't know. I don't have high hopes that we'll see them in a match on that, since it was pre-taped, but I guess we'll find out. But yeah, I feel like that, if we don't be mad if you don't see them on this episode of SmackDown, because that's a lot to ask talent. I mean, obviously we saw like CM Punk and Seth Rollins and some people in Rhea Ripley and some people that were there, but none of them had matches last night because they just traveled back from Saudi. So
right. Yeah, I think we talked about why they taped last night, is to give talent time off for the 4th of July.
That's
holiday.
Awesome.
It's great.
With doing that, they essentially have a week off now until Raw next Monday. So yeah, that's awesome that they did that.
Right. So that's a good thing. Obviously as fans, we want to see our favorites, but they're people and they deserve to have a life and to spend time with their families too. So
yeah, especially after having to take a big trip like that all the way to Saudi.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, Brandon? All right, so we got a couple tweets and social media posts I want to get to before we get to a big, huge rabbit hole, we'll say, of items to discuss. But the first one here, and I'll make these full screen. But the first one here, is there a reason for Howdy changing all the time?
So this was, I couldn't get it all in one picture. So this was a comment on a tweet that Jason Baker made. He posted a picture of Asuka's new mask and talked about him making it. And then that's where this question came from. Is there a reason for Howdy changing his mask all the time? And I absolutely love Jason Baker's answer to this. I thought that was so cool because I've seen this so much. So many people making comments about this. Why is Howdy got a different looking mask every week? Why are they always changing it? How he looks, blah, 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 blah. I thought this was the absolutely perfect answer to that question.
Yeah, and it lets you know, Chris, at least this is what I kind of gather from it, is that there is absolutely a plan.
Yep.
Not only for this group, but for Howdy specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And that this goes deeper than just a couple people in creative, that this is this is being worked on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good sign, I think.
Yeah, it's awesome that Jason Baker has, he's already working on, masks for the future, I bet, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's got these ideas in his head, just like Bray did. Where they're going with this, and he already knows that and is working on it. I think that's so cool to see the kind of attention to detail that they're willing to put into one character's mask.
Yeah, and shout out to the person for asking that question.
Yeah,
too. That's a really good question. All right, so Chris and I talked about this a little bit before, and I know that this is probably not large enough for y'all to see it. But Chris, if you could just kind of walk us through this post, and we'll kind of talk about some of what we were thinking here.
Yeah, so Eric Rowan recently did an interview with Chris Van Vliet, and talked about things that we've talked about on this channel a lot. Talked about criticism from fans and stuff, and I like what he said here. He highlighted the physical and emotional toll of being a professional wrestler, and their training and travel and storytelling demands. And he said it's disheartening when fans think it's just fake and easy, emphasizing the sacrifices made to entertain. And I love that, because there's so many people that love to just, as soon as somebody makes a mistake or doesn't do something right or something they don't like, or whatever, people are so quick to judge it, dismiss it, criticize it and stuff. And we often forget about that these are real people with real feelings, and they're putting their heart and soul into this job that they do of being a professional wrestler every single night that they go out there. And I can only imagine how disheartening that could be if you go and put everything into something, and then you get online and read all these comments and people are just trashing what you're doing. Like, it's just, I just think it's important for all of us to remember that these are real people, and this is their whole life. They're willing to sacrifice it to entertain us, and we should keep that in mind that before we act too harshly on things we say.
And I'll say something that a lot of these wrestlers are too kind to say, but I feel like it needs to be said. I feel like, okay, it's like me watching a movie, and let's say I'm watching a Jordan Peele film, just to throw him out. And I say, he really jacked up that camera movement right there. I wouldn't have done it that way. I really don't like how he did it. Who the heck am I to sit there and say, I really don't like Jordan Peele's directorial vision and his. And I think that a lot of these wrestlers are too kind to say that a lot of the fans that say, oh, well, this person botched and they're a terrible wrestler and they're this and that. It would take one of these wrestlers one time to say, how about I invite you to name a building, name an arena. We'll have the ring set up. I invite you to take a bump, or I invite you to go through a workout session to get warmed up. I invite you to do that. It would take one time for a person to get out there and try it and make a complete jackass of themselves.
Yeah. No matter how it looks like on TV, none of what they do is easy. None of it. And if it does look easy, it's because they're that damn good that they make it look easy when it is not.
Right. I mean, you equate it to sports. You think about people, and this is something else that blows my mind too. There are people who have the audacity who got cut from their middle school basketball team that criticize LeBron James, talking about his free throw percentage, talking about his clutch ability and all of that stuff. And they got cut from their middle school basketball team. They couldn't even make the rec team and they had to pay for it. But anyway, don't get me started on that. But it's like criticizing someone like that who has been in the gym for decades at this point, shooting, perfecting their technique, perfecting how everything feels. That's how it happens here. Now, just like LeBron, just like many professional athletes, wrestlers are the same way, and so are we. We're going to screw up from time to time. And that's okay because we're human.
Yeah.
Everybody screws up. I told Chris this. Thank God above, we don't have cameras following us around on a day-to-day basis for the world to see. Because, I mean, I would get picked on just like everybody else would. Sometimes I put my shoe on the wrong foot because I'm in a hurry.
Yeah.
It happens. I get halfway down the road, I'm like, man, that feels weird. Well, I wonder why. So, yeah, it's just people need to lighten up.
Yeah.
Yeah, people need to lighten
Really, I mean, the infrequency that most of the time that stuff even happens just goes to show you how good they are, that they hardly ever screw up.
Yeah, I mean, these people are practicing, they're working on their craft constantly, all while maintaining that rigorous travel schedule, performing several nights a week in front of live crowds, and they don't have safety nets or a second take. So, all right.
The other interesting thing in this is it mentions, I don't know if he said something during I hadn't listened to this interview, but if he said something or what about it mentions a potential showcase at SummerSlam 2025 where the Wyatt Sicks aim to honor Bray Wyatt's legacy. That has me really excited because, like I said, we've already been talking about that. Good possibility, I think, that they have a match at SummerSlam, and we all know SummerSlam. Bray has had so many iconic matches at SummerSlam. It'd be awesome if they do something special to honor him at SummerSlam.
Completely agree. We'll go to another clip from Eric here, talking about the Wyatt Sicks and saying, I don't think a lot of these people have had clear chances to showcase what their strengths really are in the company. I think this is the chance for them to begin to show those strengths while honoring something that's pretty big and close to my heart.
Yeah, I love that him saying that. I think that's totally right. I mean, that's why I love this group so much. I mean, not only are they honoring Bray, someone we all love so much, but they're, it's cool that it even has a deeper meaning, like in the story and in real life of how a lot of these characters in this group have not really been given a lot of opportunities, a lot of chances to show what they can do. So that's why I hope the Wyatt Sicks really has a good long run, so these guys get the chance to show what they can do, because I think they're all extremely talented.
Yeah, man, I agree. They are super talented, and I'm really glad that they're getting a chance to be seen. The Amazing Guy puts up a great comment to segue us into another slide here. He says, it was amazing to finally meet Alexa at Fanatics Fest and tell her that she and Bray are forever my favorites, and her telling me that was her favorite time. And then seeing her do the Fiend entrance. That was so cool. Did you get a chance to see that, Chris?
No, I didn't.
So she did a Fiend entrance. It was I'm assuming a father and daughter. The daughter was just as dressed as her, I believe, or Lily. And Alexa did the entrance with them.
Oh, wow. I'll have to find that video.
Yeah, it was so cool. So cool. Yeah, that was a tremendous moment. And tremendous thing for her to do at Fanatics Fest. But yeah, Clown said that he saw that clip. So, but speaking of Alexa, she had some comments on joining the Wyatt Sicks to carry on Bray Wyatt's legacy. And the quote here says, I think Wyndham said it best when he said, we will always be connected in some way, whether that's with the Wyatt Sicks, we'll just have to see. But obviously we're all in this Bray Wyatt universe together. I definitely think it would be something that's awesome for us to do down the line. Yes, 100%. She said this via Fanatics. So what do you think of that quote, Chris? And folks in the chat, you chime in as well.
I liked it, and that's why I wanted to highlight this, because it goes to show that, obviously that's a lot of people want that to happen. You know, I think it could be cool. It's cool to see that that's definitely out there and could be a possibility and something she's open to doing down the road. I think it's good to see too that whole thing of like down the line too. Like, I think we can chill on that for now. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, and that's okay. She's doing her own thing. The Wyatt's doing their thing, but I definitely think their paths will probably cross at some point in the future, and it's cool to see her kind of confirm that she would love to do that and is totally open to that.
Yeah, and that's what I would say. I would say be patient.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to make sense for both of their stories.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I mean, if you just try to shoehorn them into the same story, it's probably going to feel that way. So I think when it naturally happens, whether that's 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 8 months from now, I think, be happy that it's on her mind, but it seems like it's not something that's at the very forefront at the moment. So I don't have a problem with that.
You look at it, they're both, her and the Wyatt Sicks, are coming off of long absences off of TV and stuff.
Right.
So they're both got to kind of get reestablished. She's getting herself reestablished in the solo as in the women's division, and obviously the Wyatts now are reestablishing themselves in the tag team division and stuff. So I think it's good to let them reestablish themselves first separately before they have them join together to do something. It's just going to make it that much better, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I think at that point we'll be so ready for it that it's like, okay, it's going to happen any day now. Then we'll get it, and it's like, oh, here we go. And then I think we'll be off to the races. I was happy to see that quote. I thought that was really good.
Something else I forgot to send a screenshot of it over, but I did want to bring up. But speaking of things that could happen in the future, did you catch that Uncle Howdy came out wearing Bray's Fiend jacket from the new Fiend costume that never got used?
Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I feel like
I think that's very telling. I'm not at all. I think at one point I was of the mindset that I didn't ever think we'd see any version of the Fiend again.
Me too.
I think I'm starting to change on that.
Yeah. I think if anybody was going to do it, it has to be Bo. So if he does end up doing it, I think, and that's totally up to him. I would totally understand if he didn't want to do that, if he wanted to leave that as Bray's thing. If it's too hard for him to do, I would totally understand that. I'd totally be okay with it. But him wearing that jacket has me thinking that maybe he's open to it, and maybe that we could get that in the future. I'm excited. I don't know. There's something about wearing that exact jacket, just like, it's moved from, okay, this is Bray's thing that he was going to do and didn't get to do. Let's just leave it here. But I don't know. Him putting on that jacket just has me excited that maybe he could don that at some point.
Yeah. Man, I'm excited. There's so many little tidbits, little things that they're dropping here and there, and
and
speaking of that,
the red streak in the dreads too, a little throwback to Bray too. I love that.
Yeah, so they're really ramping some things up here. And speaking of that, Chris, we got this.
Yeah.
And I want to go through this, and folks in the chat, please chime in. Please let us know your thoughts on all of this. There was a post from the Wyatt Sicks on X on the 30th. Included 9 text files, which were quickly deleted. So, Chris, before we dive deep into this, what were your thoughts about us getting something like this again?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. I mean, it reminded me back of the White Rabbit stuff and the stuff with the Nightbird. Before we got the Wyatt Sicks, it's awesome to see, and it made me think of Jodie because everyone knows how much she loved those puzzles and figuring out what the meaning was behind the things that Bray posted and the things that the Wyatt Sicks posted and stuff. So yeah, I'm glad to see that. I hope that never goes away. I hope that we always, here and there still get little puzzles and stuff to figure out. Now, I will say, I looked at the puzzles. I tried to figure them out myself first before I looked at the page where someone had decoded them all. I was lost. I couldn't. I don't know how they got them figured out so quickly, but I'm glad that somebody got them figured out and that we get to see the result of it.
Yeah, shout out to them, man, because that's awesome. That's awesome. And I think it's awesome that we're getting this kind of stuff again. Jeremy saying, Bo, if he wants to do a thing, that could be the way to bring Alexa in because she's the only one that can bring back the Fiend.
Yeah, that's something I thought of too. That could be a good way to tie them together.
Yeah.
And maybe even something with if she continues down the dark path of we've talked about before, I think it'd be cool if she was like, a fiendish character. Maybe they could do that together. That could be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, let's go to this first one, Chris. Because we got I'm gonna butcher stuff, so if you will help me out with some of this, but we got this first file here, and it had this in there, and it had file name 7, which translates to "We have been lifted from shadow and crowned in truth. We will not be denied. We are inescapable."
Mm-hmm. I like that. It just shows that they're here to dominate, and I'm here to see it.
Absolutely. All right, the next one, a Morse code file named 29, which translates to "The message will spread," over and over again.
Mm.
The message will spread.
Mm.
How, folks in chat and Chris, how are they going to spread this message?
Mm. I think part of it's going to be, beating these teams and hopefully taking the tag gold. I think that'll send a big message. That'll spread it. What the Wyatt Sicks are about, what they came to do. And I'm sure that we'll continue to get things like this. We'll probably still get the VHS tapes talking about their message.
Yeah. Let's see here. Alexa Bliss Gamer saying maybe they take over multiple divisions on SmackDown.
We've talked about that before too. I'd love to see Nikki go and start fighting other people and Rowan and Howdy too. I'd love to see him branch out and just take over.
Yeah, I would too. All right, we'll go to the next one here. This is file name A, but the work must continue.
Mm-hmm.
Is what this translates to. They know they have work to do. They know they've got to. I think they know that they have to make their mark in multiple areas.
Yeah, definitely.
Base 64 file name E, which translates to "You will bear witness to the writing on the wind. We will be crowned with glory, shrouded in gold."
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got to say this. I think what Clown brought up earlier, I believe it was Clown. The whole gauntlet match idea would fit so well with this concept. But, I mean, you will bear. What do you think about this, Chris?
This was my favorite one out of all of them. We talked about it a little bit before the show. I love that line. We will be crowned with glory and shrouded in gold. That has me really excited. Like we talked about before, I think it would be so cool for at least a little while if we saw every member of the Wyatt Sicks all have gold at the same time for a bit. You know, kind of like we're seeing with the Judgment Day again. Every member of the Judgment Day right now has gold.
Yeah.
I think that would be so cool if the Wyatt Sicks could do that at some point and have at least a little bit of a run where every member has some gold.
All right, this next one translates to: we expose the manipulators, coercive, narcissistic, and the liars. Who are they referring to?
I think that's something that they, you know, obviously we've seen them do that a little bit, and I think in their first run, and I think we're going to see it a lot more. And I hope that they continue that of exposing people for who they truly are and shining the light on them.
Yeah. And I think that's a part of the work not being done too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they're constantly watching everyone in WWE and looking out for people to expose.
Now, this one I think is a direct shot at the tag division, but this one translates to: the fragmenting bonds of brotherhood erode before your eyes. Wood has become splintered. We are the axe that breaks.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think they've talked about it a little bit before in some of these posts and stuff. They saw the weakness there of all these teams just fighting with each other over these belts, and that how easily brotherhood can be broken between these tag teams. And I think that's cool that they decided to target that weakness, and they're going to come in and just break it all down.
Yeah. All right, here's the next one. Behold, the hour is at hand. You have seen signs and wonders, and you believed. I think this is just letting us know there's more to come.
Mm-hmm. And it's just, and two, just a thank you a bit to the fans for believing in them and trusting in them.
Yeah. Clown with an interesting comment here, or if it's really about Wyatt's all holding gold, the brotherhood they speak of could be Howdy going for U.S. gold off Solo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely possible.
That is definitely possible. Like you're thinking. Again, give Clown the pencil. All right, here's the next one. They tried to forget about us, but we made them remember. I love this one.
Oh, yeah. I think this is, obviously talking about before when Howdy got everybody together, they were forgotten then, and he brought them together in this group to make them remember. But it's kind of haven't happened again with them being away for so long and stuff. People forgot about them, and now they're coming back with a vengeance to make people remember. They're a force to be reckoned with.
Yep. Mark joining us from Facebook. What's up, Mark? I have something with that. When the Judgment Day captured the tag team gold, do you think WWE is planting early seeds between the Judgment Day and the Wyatt Sicks? I can see the Sicks going after the Judgment Day for tag team gold. What do you think about that, Chris?
I think it's definitely possible in the future. I mean, we've seen multiple instances of the Wyatt Sicks having some interaction with Judgment Day. I mean, we saw some stuff there with Nikki and Liv before, so I definitely think that would be a cool feud down the road, and we could definitely see that eventually.
Yeah. And man, how special would that be if that happened at Survivor Series?
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome. All right, here we go. Here's the last one. Morse code file. Shout in praise and admiration.
Mm-hmm.
I think it,
I think it's
go ahead, Chris.
I think it's talking about when they win the tag gold.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
People will be like, "See, I knew they had something. I knew, you know." I was there, and then I think they'll start to put out more stuff about the people that didn't believe, which I was.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love that, man. Interesting stuff. I know. I think I believe C Wrestling has a video out
Mm-hmm.
on this, so go check that out. I love all his breakdowns and everything, so go check that out.
I know he had fun with this.
Oh yeah. And this again, this harkens back to the days of the White Rabbit, and even a lot of stuff that Bray was doing, in that latter part of his run. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that's so fun, just to talk about it and break it all down. And you got to look up what this means and that means, and do all the homework and investigating and all that. But shout out to the person that went through and put a lot of this stuff out there too.
Yeah. And it's cool because it's like to me it feels like extra stuff or bonus content. Like you don't have to delve deep into this if you don't want to, right? But for those fans that do, it's cool. It's something extra to go get deeper into the Wyatt Sicks lore.
Right. Yeah, it keeps the story going, and it keeps it more than just on your television. It makes it multi-dimensional, so it's not just something that you see on TV once a week, or maybe you get a tweet, or maybe you didn't, whatever the case may be. Now you get something that you can really sink your teeth into, and really.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I can't ever see a QR code anywhere without thinking of Bray.
Yeah, yeah.
Anytime I see a QR code, I immediately think of Bray.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. So this was a fun discussion. Leave your thoughts in the comments, folks. Whether you're watching with us right now or you're watching after the fact, leave your thoughts in the comments and let us know what you think about all of this. I mean, not just the breakdown of the information that we just went through, but also let us know what you think about where the Wyatt Sicks are right now and what they're doing and what you see happening down the line. Okay. All good then. All good. That happens. That happens. All right. So we're going to kind of land the plane here, so to speak. So Chris, any final thoughts before we head out?
Like we've talked about recently, I'm super excited. Like it's so it was so long that they were gone, and now to have them back now it's just so awesome. And we gotten to see them in a couple of matches now, and that's definitely going to continue. And we're getting some of this extra, backstage kind of stuff with their tweets and videos and stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see where it's going. Like I said, I'm not holding my breath on this week. They had a lot of travel and stuff, so I understand if they're not on SmackDown this week, but I'm sure that they will be next week and going forward and stuff. And can't wait to find out about SummerSlam to see if they end up having a match on it, like I think they are.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. That gives us a lot to talk about on these episodes.
I'm even wearing my SummerSlam shirt with all the different SummerSlam logos over the years. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so awesome. All right, folks. Well, we're gonna head out of here. Go watch NXT tonight.
I believe Joe Hendry has a match on NXT tonight.
I believe he does. So go check it out and come back on Thursday and join me. I might be flying solo. I don't know, but we'll make it work. So, come join us on Thursday night. If you haven't already, drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. We're glad you're here. Leave a comment. Let us know it's your first time watching us. And yeah, we're glad you're here. Hit that subscribe button. Hopefully you enjoyed our content this evening and what we do on this channel. So let's see, a couple comments here before we go. Sean saying, Jeff and Chris, I would love for the Wyatt Sicks to be able to all three brands.
Yeah, me too.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Alicia saying, same here with QR code, see them everywhere, and I smile and look up. Think
Yep.
Yep. See you next time, Marvin. Yeah, we're gonna head out, but yeah, Chris, man, fun as always.
Oh yeah.
Enjoyed talking through all of this with you, and in the words of Jed Shepard, don't be a dick.
That's right.
And if you want to be one, don't be one behind the keyboard, and let's see if you really say what it is that you want to say to Eric Rowan. I guarantee you that's a dude that you don't
And if you somehow do, make sure and video it and send it to us so we can watch it.
please. Please. I think I know how that goes.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, you all take care. We'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your week, a great night, and be kind to each other. Be kind. The world, there's so much going on in the world, but it costs absolutely nothing to be kind to one another. So
That's right.
have a good evening, and we will talk to you soon, and hopefully see you on the next episode of Fireflies Forever. Take care, everyone.
I am the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, drive them insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Strut through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Fear for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because I've had an all hope will enter here. So listen clear, I made your dreams. Fireflies don't disappear.